my newsletter this week. I wish there was a bit more news to give you, but actually not a lot has changed since last time I spoke to you. We're still in lockdown here. I'm still spending quite a large part of my waking hours here in my studio. But I'm lucky, you know, I've got things to occupy me all the time. I am never bored. And I don't know what I'd do without my sketchbooks, because, you know, I carry them around with me. I can use them anywhere I like. But best of all, I like coming and closeting myself away in my little space here where I've got all my art materials and I can just doodle away to my heart's content. And lately I've been working on some of my plant printed pages. You remember those boiled pages that we did on DMTV a while ago? If you're interested in some of my sketchbooks, there are some flip-throughs, the concertina books, on our website. So if you wanted to see these books in more detail, there's a free flip-through that you can look at any time you like. And the beauty of these concertina books, as I say, I'm working on those plant printed papers, which, if you're nervous of sketchbook work, I know what it's like when you treat yourself to a brand new book and it's pristine and it's perfect and you're just convinced that any mark you make on those pages is just going to ruin the beauty of the sketchbook. But of course, when you're working with these plant printed papers, you don't have that scary blank white page facing you. You've got really gorgeous organic forms already there. And the challenge then is to work into them and see what you can do that really enhances the page. And after I'd finished those two sketchbooks, I still had some of my printed papers left. And these aren't in a clever binding. These were just laid flat and stitched down a centre fold here, just to hold that signature, it's called, together. So just a few pages. And what I've been doing during lockdown, during this latest lockdown, should I say, is working into those pages with things that I'm seeing outside in my garden. I'm not going very far afield, so it has to be inspiration from just outside my door. And you know, I'm very interested in nature, so I'm looking at plants, I'm looking at moths, I'm looking at the birds in my garden. We just did the big garden bird count a couple of weeks ago, I think that was. We have an amazing variety of birds that come. So sometimes I'm showing the moths, drawing the moths that I've caught in a moth trap. Quite harmless in a moth trap. You just catch them, photograph them, and then release them to the wild. And then sometimes I'm showing the little birds. I think we've got, at last count, 14 bird feeders in our garden. So it's not surprising that we get flocks and flocks of birds, especially at the moment, because it's like living in a deep freeze here. It's been, you know, minus Celsius, minus several degrees for a couple of weeks, I'm sure. And we've had more snow than we ever have in the winter. So these little birds are absolutely desperate for food. We've got a bird box with a camera in it, but they've yet to discover that. I'm really excited that I'll be able to see them at close quarters, and hopefully we'll have little birds, little chicks to record, and maybe I can, you know, spend some time during lockdown if this goes on any longer, which it looks like it might. But I'll do a little flip through so you can see the pages of this in more detail. Although it is, I have to say, still very much a work in progress, because I'm not working sort of chronologically or, you know, from the front to the back of the book. I'm just dipping in, and when I'm seeing a space on the page, thinking, what would complement that? What would sit happily there? So I hope you're finding some solace if you're in lockdown like we are, and you've got a bit of time on your hands. I hope you're enjoying just the private pleasure and satisfaction of working in a sketchbook. And if it appeals to you and you haven't done much, do browse our sketchbooks classroom, and I hope you'll find a few videos there that will inspire you and keep you busy, stop you from being bored. So thanks for reading this today and watching me here today, and we'll be back soon. Bye for now.